I've owned the iPhone 13 for a month now. You know what that means. Welcome back to FTW Tech. I'm your host, Isaiah. So I'm gonna give you guys a few quick updates before I get into the video. So first of all, no shotgun mic today. PC is still being fixed, the fans. Second of all, got a new dog. That's interesting. That's really sick. Anyways, his name is Scott. He's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. He's 11 weeks old. Now, let's get into the video. In my new series, Mini Reviews, I will quickly review several cool tech items I've acquired that perhaps don't warrant full reviews. Today's first installment will include the iPhone 13 Dbrand Grip case, Spigen Thin Fit case, Smartish Gripmunk case, Govee Glide RGB light bars, that would be these babies right here, and several of the parts I used to build my keyboard, including NicePBT Beach keycaps, the DZ60RGB V2 PCB, Tofu60 case, Gateron Yellow switches, and finally, my Matrix Keyboard's diamond blue coiled cable. So let's get right into the first item. We'll begin with the Govee Glide RGB IC Smart Wall Light, a cheaper alternative to the $200 nano leaf panels. The Glide is a set of 6 long rectangular light bars that mount to the wall, along with a connector piece that also lights up. The easy installation of the light bars is really nice. Simply apply the adhesive and click the light bars together. The thing that really puts these lights over the edge, however, is the software. You can use your phone's Bluetooth and the Govee Home app to quickly turn on and off the lights and choose between dozens of pre-made effects. You can choose themed color schemes in the effects lab and even set timers that are visually represented on the light bars. My only gripe with the Govee Glide is that because the bars are straight and only come with one connector piece here to change the direction, you are limited to mounting them in either a V shape, upside down V shape, or an L shape, unless you get more than one set of them, which then it gets expensive, and the whole point of these is that they're cheaper than nano leaf. Overall, though, they're pretty good. They make for some good mood lighting, but like I said, you are limited with the shapes. And then over here, you can see the cable comes down. That can be kind of annoying. If you can hide it, you can hide it. I kind of can't. You got the Bluetooth receiver box here and all that, and you know the outlets down there, or the wall brick is down there. It powers it. So yeah, pretty sick lights. Most of you probably came from my review of the iPhone 13. Before I give you my opinion, let me tell you exactly what I'm working with. I have the standard iPhone 13 featuring the product red colorway, which means they donate some of the proceeds to fight AIDS, which is really sick actually. And it has 256 gigs of storage. With that out of the way, I love my iPhone 13. I am a bit biased. I've always loved iPhones. I've never owned an Android. The battery life is simply ridiculous on the iPhone 13. It is so good. I had a smart battery case on my iPhone XR. Apple doesn't make these smart battery cases anymore, instead opting for the less than perfect MagSafe battery pack. But luckily, they don't need to make the smart battery cases. I get over 8 hours easily on my new phone, and I can go a whole day without charging. I don't mind the notch or the lightning port, unlike some people. The phone is the perfect size for my hands. It's genuinely strong, even without a case. The A15 Bionic chip is fast, the camera is sharp, the OLED screen is beautiful, and the copying and pasting text in photos, that feature is pretty nifty. And I forgot that it supports 5G, which is an upgrade I've actually noticed quite a bit. It is about 6 times faster than 4G LTE, according to the speed test app. Most people underappreciate how awesome it is that you can now transfer data to your new phone simply by placing it near your old one. This is super convenient. I love it. I definitely wish there was Touch ID, since I can't use Face ID with a mask on, during the pandemic, and the passcode can be annoying to put in every time. But I still can't ever see myself switching to Android when iPhones are just so easy and intuitive to use. Again, though, Touch ID would be really, really nice. I don't know how they would do it, though, because I kind of like not having the home button, having those smaller bezels, so I don't know where they would put it. But somewhere under the screen, maybe, without affecting the screen. I don't know. That's up to the engineers at Apple, not me. But it's a great phone. Can you use the iPhone 13 without a case? Yes. Would I recommend using any phone without a case? No. I ordered the Dbrand Grip soon after I got my iPhone 13, but they were closed around Christmas, the Dbrand website, so I had to get a temporary case while I waited for the Grip to arrive over Christmas break. I went to my local Best Buy and I found the Spigen Thin Fit for $19. It retails for $25 on Spigen's website, and it's a simple and affordable polycarbonate plastic case. The Thin Fit is lightweight, thin, and stealthy. It comes in black, tan, navy, and red. I got the black version because that's all that they had at my local Best Buy. The case is not very slippery, and it's a very comfortable material to hold as well. It's also very easy to take on and off, unlike some other cases, which might be foreshadowing. Spigen claims the Thin Fit is, quote, compatible with wireless charging, end quote, but it doesn't boast official MagSafe compatibility. So which one is it, Spigen? It seems they may have verified their claim with some Qi charging pads that are not made by Apple or certified by Apple. Or they were rejected by Apple, maybe. They did apply for MagSafe on it, I don't know. Nevertheless, I did test it, and it turns out that Apple's MagSafe charger works with the case, but only kind of. It's quite slippery both with and without the sticker that comes attached to the inside of the case, so I would not recommend using MagSafe with the case, especially accessories like the MagSafe battery pack. I would not attach it to the back of the Spigen Thin Fit. Spigen doesn't make any outlandish claims about drop protection, which was probably a good move since the case doesn't feature shock absorption bumpers in the corners of the case. Nevertheless, it is a cheap case, and it does its job. It's not bad. Dbrand is personally one of my favorite companies because they have their own personality and brand identity that I really vibe with. They're all about humor, from funny packaging and interactions with Linus Tech Tips to literally insulting their own customers in witty ways in their marketing on their website. I picked up the $45 Dbrand Grip case because it did extremely well in everything Apple Pro's drop test, and I wanted a grippy phone case as well. From what I can tell, the grip delivers in both areas. I have dropped it multiple times, including once down the stairs at my school, and my phone is undamaged, although I also have a really cheap screen protector, which helps a little. The grip also has black sides. It always has black sides, no matter what color you get. But the back can be either red carbon, matte black, white marble, black swarm, sky blue, or other colors and designs. Unlike the Thin Fit, it is strongly MagSafe compatible, and officially MagSafe compatible. Although it is harder to take on and off of the phone. It fits very well though. The buttons are top tier and clicky as noted by the website. The side of the case features shock absorbers, grip tape, and thousands of small textured dots that make it impossible for it to slide around too much in your pocket. I love the grip strips, but I'm somewhat lukewarm on the texture overall. You'll get used to it after a few weeks, however, because it gets a little more dull than when it first comes in the mail. Most people purchase the grip for its superb drop protection and shocking grippiness. It can be hard to find in stores, I think, so I would order it off their website for sure. My mom's phone case, the Smartish Gripmunk, also claims to be grippy, but it's not as grippy as the Dbrand case. The case has a MagSafe version for $20 and a normal version for just $15. The case is nice and lightweight, and it has grippy curved ridges on the sides of the case towards the bottom. I personally don't like the curved ridge method, but it works for the most part. It also has textured dots like the grip case, and they actually feel nicer than the dots on the grip case, in my opinion. Smartish claims to have air pocket corners on the case that make it have better drop protection, but it feels less protective than the Dbrand Grip for sure. It is $15 after all, so it's the cheapest that I have for the iPhone 13. The non-MagSafe version has just 2 colors, but the MagSafe version has 5 options, although there is notably no red or green option. Unfortunately, the buttons on the case are extremely mushy and not tactile at all. That would be my biggest issue. The design of the Gripmunk, aside from the curves, is very sleek, and if you really need a cheap case, it's not bad. It's one of those products that's not great, but rather good value, especially the MagSafe case. The KBDFans Tofu60 is probably the most ubiquitous custom keyboard case of all time. It's versatile because it's cheaper than the Tofu65 and still allows for arrow keys. It has wide compatibility with an array of 60% PCBs from KBDFans and others. It comes in tons of color options, and unlike other keyboard parts, it is always readily available and shipping. It's fully aluminum, and it's really heavy. I mean really heavy. You will never again experience deck flex with the Tofu60. As I said, it's full aluminum. In some places, it's like half an inch thick. It comes with 4 tiny rubber feet that can be attached to the bottom of the case. Although I can't find where my little rubber feet went, I lost them. The case's standoffs are high enough that it is easy to screw in the PCB using the tray mounting method. Yes, it is a tray mount case. And there is lots of space for case foam under the PCB. The cable cutout only allows for USB-C or micro USB, which is fine since all modern PCBs use USB-C, let's be honest. Especially, custom keyboard PCBs that you could buy. The Tofu60 is basically the best value keyboard case you can get, and I would recommend it for anyone's first build. As I said, this was my first build that I used it for, my first ever keyboard build, and it worked very well. My lubed and filmed Gateron Yellows are great, but I kind of regret getting them. I mean, not really, but don't get me wrong, they feel super good, and they sound better than any other keyboard that I've typed on, except for my cousin Flops' insane keyboard with red samurais and tangerines. I mean, they're on another level. But for the same price, there are other phenomenal switch options that you could experiment with. All the different colors of housings are basically the same switch, just to clear up any confusion you may have. You know, there are Milkies, there are normal ones, there's KS8, I think there's KS7, I don't know. I got the KS8 version, I believe, which has clear housing. Gateron Yellows, which are linear and quiet, have a nice 50-gram actuation force, which, along with their Gateron reliability, makes them a joy to type on. Stock, they're not great, but lubed, they're up there with the best switches. They fit all cherry profile keycaps, and they are mounted to the PCB with a 3-pin layout. 5-pin switches are used for extra stability when you don't want to use a plate, but most PCBs only support 3-pin switches like Gat Yellows. However, you can always cut off the plastic on 5-pin switches to get them to fit in 3-pin PCBs, while the same cannot be said for using 3-pin switches in 5-pin PCBs, which you cannot do. Quick edit, guys, I done goofed. Quick note that Gat Yellows can come in both 3-pin and 5-pin varieties. I actually have both, and also 3-pin switches can fit in 5-pin PCBs. As well as 5-pin switches can sometimes fit in 3-pin PCBs without cutting off the plastic ends off. Sometimes you'll have to cut off the extra plastic feet that come in 5-pin switches to get them to fit in 3-pin PCBs. Sometimes that's not the case. So just a little mistake there. Yeah. Gateron Yellows are renowned for being cheap, at around $16 for a pack of 70 switches. That's crazy. However, there are several new contenders that many claim are better or similar at the same price when lubed, but especially stock. For example, well, I mean, because the Gat Yellows are so good lubed, but stock there are other ones near the price point that are really good stock too. For example, Acco CS Rose Reds, they're pretty good stock. $20 for 90 switches, not bad. Or Cherry MX Blacks, which are $25 for 70 retooled switches. Make sure if you go MX Black, you get the retooled ones. There are also higher-end linears like JWK Lavenders or great tactiles like Holy Pandas. Obviously, they're more expensive. So Gat Yellows are extremely smooth. They sound great when they're lubed. The switches are easy to open and lube with a switch opener. I would like to be a little bit more adventurous with my switch choice in the future, but the Gat Yellows are a great starting point. I was actually going to get JWK Labs, but they ended up falling outside of my budget by the time I went to buy them. So, got the Gat Yellows, and they did not disappoint. Much like the Tofu60, the KBDFans DZ60RGB V2 was extremely well known. In fact, it is commonly used with the Tofu60. It is a hot swappable RGB PCB featuring USB-C and north-facing switch layout. It comes in at $55, and case foam and PCB foam can be added for $10 each. The VIA software can be used to control the per-key RGB LEDs in the board, and the RGB can also be turned off, of course. That's what I'm going to do. Several screw-in and PCB mount stabilizers are compatible with the PCB, and I used standard cherry screw-in stabilizers that came with my Tofu60 build kit. I'm not sure if this is an issue with the switches, plate, or PCB, but the switches were remarkably hard to insert into the PCB. I actually think it was the plate that was causing interference with the plastic clips on the sides of the switches. However, because the DZ60 is always in stock in both ANSI and ISO layouts, I of course got ISO, I would recommend buying this purely functional piece of keyboard gear. It's amazing. There aren't many reviews out there about the NicePBT Beach Day keycaps. There are some reviews about like NicePBT Sugar Plum, a lot of those, but they're not as popular as other NicePBT sets like I just alluded to. NicePBT is a Canon Keys brand that sells keycaps from $60 to $85. The Beach Day set, like all Canon Keys keycaps, is cherry profile and is made of dye-sublimated PBT plastic. It is $75. The set comes with some cool beach-themed accent keys, and it features a blue, orange, and tan colorway. Included are many space bars and shift key sizes for various boards. Of course, the set gives you enough keycaps for a full-sized board. The set comes with caps in many different shades of blue, as well as some orange and beige caps, so you don't even need to use the color orange at all in your build, especially if you're going with a small form factor board. The packaging for the set is quite the showpiece. It's absolutely beautiful. The keycaps themselves are also beautiful. They come encased in a plastic cutout, and they're nicely organized. My only complaint with these phenomenal and underrated keycaps is that the spacing between them can be slightly inconsistent, and gaps can be seen. Now, this could be either the fault of the keycaps or the PCB, but it is an issue that's pretty common, so I wouldn't give it too much weight. These keycaps for $75 are awesome. In my opinion, they look better than most GMK sets. They are PBT and not double-shot ABS, but, you know, that's not a bad thing. Most sets are PBT, so, yeah, great option. Matrix Keyboards is a purveyor of the infamous Clicks keyboard, but they sell keyboards, keycaps, cables, mouse pads, and more. I picked up their diamond blue coiled cable for my build, and I'm pretty happy with it for just $35. Why spend $70 on a Space Cables cable? This $35 cable is coiled pretty tightly, although if you're not careful, it will come undone a little bit, as it already has just a tiny bit for me. It features a white Matrix branded USB Type-A on one side and a white USB-C on the other. The cables are attached with a glossy silver aviator connector, as is the case with many coiled keyboard cables. Say that 5 times fast. Coiled keyboard cables, coiled keyboard cables, coiled keyboard cable. It's very hard, trust me. The sleeving is clearly high quality and it feels great to the touch. I've had no connection issues or disconnects with the cable so far. Matrix sells a bunch of colored coiled cables for $35 to $40, which is on the budget side. Keychron actually makes $15 coiled aviator cables, but I didn't get one because it almost seems too good to be true. And then it's also USB-C to USB-C, which I prefer USB-A to USB-A. Anyways, the Matrix cable has 6 inches of coil and is 6 feet long overall, which is a good length for most setups. Overall, I would recommend it. The first installment of mini reviews featured lots of amazing products that I reviewed positively, but I'll eventually find something that I hate to include in the series in the future. Anyways, let me know if you like this series so far. Again, this is the first episode. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys.